Hey guys, Gizmoddict here and a very happy new year to all of you. So every time Xiaomi launches a new phone, Realme has to get back at them and they instantly launch a new phone. We saw that with the Realme 5S when the Redmi Note 8 was announced, and now that Redmi K30 has been launched in China, they've instantly launched the Realme X50. So this is a 5G phone from Realme, it's a mid-ranger phone and it directly competes with the K30 5G. And this time Realme has actually been quite inspired by the Redmi K30 and they've blatantly copied a lot of things. So without wasting any more time, let's get started with this video. I'm going to talk about the Realme X50. I'll let you guys know the specifications, the similarities with the Redmi K30, and we'll also discuss if this phone will come to India or not. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. But if you're watching my channel for the first time, please consider hitting the red subscribe button and the bell icon because I do bring videos about the latest smartphones on this channel along with a lot of other things. So if you like this video, please subscribe, and without wasting any more time, let's get started with this video. So talking about the Realme X50 5G, the major talking point about this phone is the fact that it's a 5G mid-ranger phone. So like the Redmi K30 5G, this phone also gets the new Snapdragon 765G. So it's a mid-range chipset from Qualcomm which supports 5G. So the X50 5G will support 5G network and 5G speeds. So that is one of the major things about this phone because it's only 25,000 rupees and it has support for 5G. So apart from the Snapdragon 765G, this phone is actually available in two options. You can either get 8GB RAM, 128GB storage or 12GB RAM and 256GB storage. The variant spread is a little bit weird because if you see the Redmi K30 5G, it starts at a price tag of 21,000 rupees and you've got a 664 variant as well. So the entry level price is low on the Redmi K30 5G because of the lower RAM variant. Realme has not done that, so the starting price of this phone is 25,000 rupees. Maybe they'll launch a 6GB variant later on, I don't know, but as of now, if you want the Realme X50, the starting price would be 25,000 rupees. So basically under the hood, you've got the Snapdragon 765 and either 8 or 12GB of RAM. But that's not the talking point of this phone. The major talking point of this phone is the fact that like the Redmi K30 5G, this phone also gets a 120Hz display. So the Realme X50 gets a 6.57-inch Full HD Plus IPS LCD display with a refresh rate of 120Hz. And that is absolutely insane at this price point. If you guys haven't seen my Redmi K30 video, go watch that. I played some 120Hz games there and the experience was absolutely crazy. Even if we don't consider gaming, the day-to-day experience scrolling through social media, the Twitter, Instagram feed, everything is a lot more smooth on a 120Hz display. So I'm glad that Realme has gone with a 120Hz display, but what I'm not glad with is that they've literally copied the design of the Redmi K30. So Redmi K30 on the front gets a punch hole type display as we've seen on the Galaxy S10 Plus, and Realme has just taken the same design. The only difference is that the punch hole is on the left hand side of the screen and not the right hand side of the screen. I mean, if they could have been a little bit more creative, maybe put a pop-up camera or something like that, it would have been great. So yeah, the front design is very similar to the Redmi K30 and the back design is actually very similar to the Realme XT and the X2. So on the back you've got that quad camera setup on the side and you've also got a glass back, so Gorilla Glass 5 on the back as well as on the front. So in terms of design from the back, it's like the Realme X2 and on the front it's like the Redmi K30. Talking about that display, it's a 6.57-inch display and because it's an LCD display, because of that you have to move the in-display fingerprint sensor. LCD displays cannot have in-display sensors. So where did Realme choose to put it? At the power button, exactly like the Redmi K30. So I don't know what's wrong with Realme here because normally I don't think that Realme copies design from the Redmi phones, but this time around they've just literally copied everything that they could. Maybe they didn't have that much time and they just wanted to push this phone into the market, so they just copy pasted things. But man, the punch hole display, the fingerprint sensor right into the power button, everything has been just lifted off from the Redmi K30. But anyways, moving on to the cameras, here's where this phone is slightly better than Redmi K30 in some aspects. So first let's talk about the rear facing camera. So the rear facing camera is a 64 megapixel Samsung sensor. So the same thing that we have been seeing on the Realme XT, X2, X2 Pro. So that thing has made its way into the Realme X50 as well. Apart from that, you've got a wide angle sensor. Once again, that also we have seen on Realme X2. You've got a macro lens, which is a 2 megapixel 4 centimeter macro lens. Once again, we've seen it on the X2. But the next sensor, the last sensor, is not a portrait sensor. This time around, Realme has given you a telephoto lens. And this thing also supports the 20x hybrid zoom. So that is where I think that the Realme X50 is better than the Redmi K30, because the K30's fourth lens is a depth sensor which is basically useless. And I complained about this in the K30 video as well, because the K20 had a telephoto lens. So Xiaomi skipped out on the telephoto lens, but Realme is giving you that, so that is where it gets its credit. But then the thing is, the Redmi K30's primary sensor is the 64 megapixel Sony sensor. And that Sony sensor is actually better than this Samsung sensor. So the primary sensor is better on the Redmi K30. The K30 5G also has a 2cm 5 megapixel macro lens. So even the macro lens is better on the K30 5G. The only advantage that the Realme X50 has is that it has a telephoto lens. Similarly, in the front-facing camera, even though both of these phones have dual cameras, the one on the Redmi K30 is only a depth sensor. But then on the Realme X50, Realme has actually put in an 8 megapixel wide-angle lens along with a selfie camera. So overall, the setup is a lot more useful. I mean, a lot of people love wide-angle selfies, so I'm really happy that Realme put in a wide-angle lens instead of a useless depth sensor as we have on the Redmi K30. So in those two areas, telephoto lens and the wide-angle lens for the front-facing camera, the Realme X50 is definitely better. Apart from that, Realme is also launching Night Sight 3.0, so apparently it's gonna bring a lot of improvements in the low light photography on the Realme X50. And also one other thing is that they've started this thing called UIS. I think it's called Ultra Image Stabilization, so it lets you record very smooth videos on the phone. There is some software that Realme has tweaked in the camera app. Now I don't know how well this would work. I tried out the super steady mode on the X2 and the X2 Pro. They didn't help that much, but I'm hoping that this ultra image stabilization would help on the Realme X50. Apart from the cameras, if we talk about the batteries, the Realme X50 gets a 4200 mAh of battery, which is slightly lesser than the Redmi K30's 4500 mAh of battery. And this phone also gets Vooc Charging 4.0, so it's 30 watt charging, and it will charge the phone from 0 to 70% in just half an hour. The Redmi K30 also gets a very fast charging option, but I think if you want to charge the phone the most in the minimum amount of time, Vooc Charging beats the fast charging on the Redmi K30. And lastly, if we talk about the software, this phone is gonna come with Realme UI and not ColorOS, and it is based on Android 10. So if you guys don't know, Realme announced that Realme UI will be coming to a lot of their phones, and they are slowly shifting away from ColorOS. So the Realme X50 is the first phone that is officially launching with Realme UI, and it's based on Android 10 right out of the box. So I'm really excited to try this out because ColorOS recently started content recommendations, which is basically ads. So I don't know if Realme UI will get ads or not. And I think Realme UI will be coming to a lot of Realme phones, including the Realme 3 Pro very soon. And now let me come to the bad news, because there are two of them on the Realme X50. First of all, you don't get a micro SD card slot. That is still okay, a lot of people like it, but considering that this phone has 128 or 256 GB storage, it's cool. But do remember that the K30 still has a hybrid SIM slot. But that's okay, I can live without a micro SD card slot. But the second bad news on the Realme X50 is that there is no headphone jack on this phone. It's a Realme phone, it's a first Realme phone without a headphone jack, and I still can't wrap my head around it. Why did Realme do that? Because it's ultimately still a budget phone, like 25,000 rupees is the starting price for this phone. And considering that all of their other phones like the X2, X2 Pro have been launched with a headphone jack, why would Realme do this? But I think it's pretty clear that they are following the OnePlus strategy. So OnePlus had their headphone jack on all of their phones until they launched their wireless earbuds. Ever since OnePlus is making the Bullets wireless earphones, they have been removing headphone jacks from their phone to just promote their products. And I think Realme is doing the same thing. Realme launched the Realme Buds Air, and this is their first launch after the Realme Buds Air. So they just decided to not have the headphone jack so that more and more people go and buy their wireless earphones. Now I do agree that Realme Buds Air are a very good pair of truly wireless earbuds, but they are not worth giving up a headphone jack on the phone. But yeah, basically that's what it is. This is where the K30 gets a major advantage, because the K30 still retains the headphone jack, but the X50 unfortunately will not have it. And I think this might be a deal breaker for a lot of people, because people who buy 20 to 25,000 rupees phone most of them do not spend 3, 4, 5,000 rupees on a good pair of Bluetooth earphones. They normally buy wired earphones for less than 1,000 rupees, which do sound really good. A wired headphones for less than 1,000 rupees which still sound equally good or even better than a truly wireless earphones for 3 to 4,000 rupees. So having a headphone jack is very important, especially in this price segment, and I'm really sad that Realme has decided to chuck it off from the Realme X50. But anyways, if I compare it to the Redmi K30 5G, I think the K30 overall seems to be a better deal. To be honest, first of all, you get a headphone jack there, you still have a micro SD card slot, albeit it's a hybrid slot, you still have the option to add a memory card. It has lower memory as well as storage options, so the cheapest Redmi K30 5G will cost you around 20 to 21,000 rupees in China, whereas this phone will cost you, the basic price is 25 to 26,000 rupees. So the entry level pricing is less for the K30 5G. Apart from that, the K30 has a better sensor. I feel the 64 megapixel Sony sensor is more superior to this phone's Samsung GW1 sensor. But then the Realme X2 has two things going for it. First of all, it has a telephoto lens, and second of all, it has a wide angle lens for the selfie camera. So let's see when these phones come to India, because as of now, both of these companies are not planning to launch these devices in India. Whenever there's a phone launch in China, and if they're planning to bring it to India, Xiaomi's and Realme's CEO, both of them talk about it on Twitter. But as of now, none of them have either spoken about the Realme X50 or about the Redmi K30. So I don't think these phones are coming to India anytime soon. But nevertheless, I would still try to import the Realme X50. I already have the Redmi K30 and I'm also trying to get the K30 5G very soon. So let's see how all of that works out. But as of now, I do think that the K30 5G seems to be more logical purchase than the Realme X50. The Realme X50 seems to be a very hasty decision by Realme. They just wanted to put out a phone in the market to compete with the K30 5G, and I feel that the omission of the headphone jack is one of the biggest deal breakers on their phone. That was my quick video about the Realme X50 5G. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please hit the like button. A lot of videos about the Redmi K30 as well as the Realme X2 and the Redmi Note 8 Pro are coming to the channel very soon. A lot of comparisons, reviews are lined up, and I will be back with regular content very soon. That's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed watching it, please like it, do share it with your friends, and do let me know your thoughts about the Realme X50 5G in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will be back in a notifications very soon. Peace.